Hi everyone, my name is Tina Chen. I'm a board certified acupuncturist and herbalist, and today I want to share with you my 6 tips to help you recover from COVID at home. So, the first tip is, of course, a healthy diet. And everyone knows what a healthy diet is. However, in Chinese medicine, what we consider healthy may be a little bit different than what your nutritionist may tell you, because we don't only look at the vitamins. We also look at the properties of the food, which is important in the sense that it will help with your digestion and absorption, and also as well as provide the nutrients that you need to heal properly. So first thing is we advocate cooked foods. So with COVID, most patients will have a very thick tongue coating. So you don't want to eat anything raw, anything cold, because that takes energy away from the body to have to sort of warm it up, if you will. You eat something cold. So you want to eat food that are rich in nutrients and at the same time doesn't make your digestive system have to work extra hard. Okay, so what you want to avoid are foods that will create a thick tongue coating. The best time of the day to check your tongue coating is first thing when you wake up in the morning. That accurately reflects what's going on inside your body. So foods that will increase the coating, which in turn will interfere with the water metabolism, create phlegm, postnasal drip and phlegm, mucus. So those are the type of foods that we want to avoid. They include number 1, sugar, that you don't want to eat at all. Any kind of sugary drinks, snacks, dessert, etc. Just avoid them all when you have COVID, because that will give you more production of mucus. Second, no dairy, no milk. That means no yogurt, no cheese, because those will also increase the production of phlegm. And you don't want that. You want to clear your lung. You want to clear that out. You don't want to eat food that is going to give you more of that. Number 3, don't eat anything that's cold or raw. And then the type of fruits that will create more coating are melons, watermelons, green melons, cantaloupe, winter melons, even papaya too is considered cold. So don't eat those during COVID. So the 4th thing under diet is you want to avoid alcohol and smoking. Of course, you don't want to be smoking. You might cough more. Alcohol is going to aggravate the inflammation in your lungs, so avoid those. And then also, there are certain foods that you want to avoid altogether when you have the flu or when you catch a cold. Those foods are the ones that tend to exacerbate the situation or the symptoms. And they include seafood, so avoid all seafood, fresh or salt water seafood. Avoid mango, durian, ducks, and also goose. Those tend to have either the ability to increase histamine effect and give you more allergy, or they tend to make conditions worse, basically not conducive for recovery. All right, and you want to also avoid fatty food, fried food, deep fried food especially. Stir fry I wouldn't do either during COVID. I would just eat steamed vegetables and also soup. Okay, so avoid anything that's fried. So then that comes down to what can you eat. So I would suggest eating foods that are nutritious, easy to digest. Things like, the fruits other than the ones that I mentioned earlier. Apples are good, grapes, oranges. Just avoid the ones that I mentioned above, the melons, especially, and mango. All right, what else can you eat? You can do a lot of chicken broth. Cook your chicken broth with a lot of onions and also garlic. You can do bone broth, beef bone broth. That's also very good, strengthens the body. It's easy to digest and absorb. And if you have a lot of phlegm, I would suggest you to buy barley. And the type of barley to get are the ones from the Asian market, the one that are rounder, not the small ones, but the type of barley that is round and black, sort of black in the middle. It looks like a cavity, I'll post a picture here for you to see. But those are the best type of barley to help you regulate water metabolism as well as get rid of the phlegm. And I usually like to add some mung bean to it because mung bean has the effect to detoxify, and that's what we need during this time. So the first tip to help you recover is to have a healthy diet, eating and not eating the stuff I mentioned earlier. Number 2 is you want to rest, of course. I think everybody knows that. But the idea here to rest is just to really rest, either sleep or lounge around. Looking at your phone, watching TV, watching Netflix, that is not considered resting in Chinese medicine because you are still using your eyes, you're still concentrating, you're still focusing on something. And that really doesn't give your body the rest that it needs. You probably would disagree, but then a good experiment similarly to this is, for example, if you sleep 8 hours. The 8 hours of sleep that you get from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m., that quality of sleep, compared to if you sleep from 3 a.m. to 12 noontime, still 8 hours, the next day your energy level and the way you feel will be completely different because, that 8 hours of sleep is at the wrong time. So it doesn't give your body the rest that it needs. I'll do another recording another time on that, on the organs and the times. But here, the point is when you're resting, you really should be resting, not looking at your phone or watching TV, all right? Number 3, the third tip is to do breathing exercises. A lot of patients have difficulty breathing. So you want to do this breathing exercise called the 6 healing sounds. So you can Google or you can find in YouTube a lot of videos on the different sounds and how they sound like. But what you want to do is you want to calm down and you want to take a deep breath in slowly and then breathe out slowly using the sound. So specifically, the sound for the lung is say. So you want to breathe in as much as you can without coughing and then slowly breathe out and stretch it out to say that word, but without saying the word. So you can watch more videos on YouTube on how to do that. So say. So this will help regulate breathing and help you be more comfortable if you have difficulty breathing with COVID. And number 4, what you want to do is you want to watch funnies. If you're going to set some time out to watch anything, don't watch bad news, don't watch anything depressing, scary. Find funny videos to watch because the funny videos are going to put you in a good mood. And a person in a good mood will produce a lot of T cells. That is the best. Laughter is the best medicine to produce natural T killer cells. And these T killer cells are the ones that deal with cancer. So they will help you greatly in the recovery of COVID. Number 5, if you have a fever, what you want to do is you want to take a hot bath and you want to sweat it out. So this is usually in the first few days, like first 4 days if you have a fever. So I do suggest you to use mugwort, which is also known as aiye, A-I-Y-E. You can either cook it up fresh if you have it in your backyard. If you don't, I'm sure you can buy it on Amazon. Buy the dry ones, cook up a big pot first, and then the solution, dump it in your bathtub, and then take a bath with that. That is going to help you sweat it out, and it has medicinal effects to push out the pathogens. Okay, so the first few days, if you're able to control the fever and also push out the pathogen, the invasion, it's less likely to go in deeper and it is much easier to treat. And my last tip for you is to visit your local acupuncturist or herbalist. We are proficient in treating different types of colds, COVID no exception. There are different herbs that can help you ease the symptoms so that you can beat this. Okay, majority of the patients do fine with or without the herbs. There are, of course, ones that need to be, that are more serious and you do need to go to the hospital when you need to go to the hospital. But otherwise, if you try to treat it the first few days, work closely with your acupuncturist or herbalist. They can change the herbs for you every day depending on how you feel. That would be the best scenario. I wouldn't self-medicate because you just don't have the training. For example, if you think astragalus is a great herb for the immune system, and when you have COVID or other colds, you take some astragalus thinking that you will strengthen your immune system, that is a no-no in our training, because anytime you have any kind of exterior pathogen or any kind of you're dealing with any kind of infection, you never ever want to take any tonics, because that will worsen the situation. It's sort of adding soldiers to the enemy, if you will, because you are then trapping it all inside. You shouldn't be strengthening yourself at that time, except for if you're really, really, really weak. And that is something that we would be able to decide better according to your blood pressure, heart rate, your pulse and tongue, and your general constitution when we see you. But I don't recommend, taking herbs yourself. You could take the vitamins. Those are, good idea to help you recover. But the herbs, I would leave it to a professional. Okay, so visit your local acupuncturist or herbalist. Work with them daily. Also work with them after the COVID so that you can take care of any of the residual symptoms, as well as whatever other symptoms that you may have, so they don't have long-term COVID symptoms afterwards. Okay, if you don't know anybody in your area, feel free to email me. I am happy to refer somebody to you. I will list my email down below in the info section. Okay, so lastly, I want to talk about how do you know if you're getting better? So generally, your energy level will be better and the fever that you see will subside. If you don't see it flaring up around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, then you are on your way out of the woods. Most people will have afternoon fever. The fever will be high and then will gradually be lower and lower, with the medicine or the herbs you're taking. So what happens is, the fever will probably go from 101, 100 to 99. And then it will usually, for most people, come in the afternoon, and then it will reach its peak, I guess hottest during 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So if you have days when you don't have the fever coming on in the afternoon, lasting until the evening, 2 or 3 days, if you're fever free, then usually that means you're pretty much out of the woods. What you then need to deal with are the whatever's remaining of the symptoms, and then just take care of that with the herbs, and you should be fine. The majority of the people that I've treated and have seen my colleagues treat, they recover anywhere from 7 days to 2 months. There are, of course, some ones that are very serious and they went to the hospital and they didn't do very well because they had pre-existing conditions. And I don't know how they were treating them at the hospital, because in the beginning, nobody really knew what to do. So I wish you all good luck. These are the tips to help you recover at home. And stay healthy, everybody.